Good morning. Happy Easter Monday. Tanja here, peak performance specialist for real estate principals and professionals that really want to grow themselves and their business in the least amount of time. Happy Easter to you. Apologies for starting a minute later. We were having a little technical difficulty, but I hope it is all good. Kate Ashton is on Insta. Good morning, Kate. Congratulations for doing your walk this morning out on the beach. Happy Easter. Who have we got here? Eb, g'day Eb, Holly Byrne, Kate, Bridget. Oh my God, we've got some beautiful love in the house. Good morning to you on Facebook and good morning to you on Instagram. If I haven't met you yet, my name's Tanja. I dedicate my time and energy to sharing stuff I've learned in my nearly 7 years of learning about peak performance and business and growth, and I just share it because a lot of it really works, and I want the same for you. And I've just come back from, g'day Kate, I've just come back from celebrating 2 decades of marriage. 20 years of marriage. Can you believe it? Crazy. Particularly crazy. Happy Easter, Holly. Particularly crazy because Lincoln, my husband, he proposed to me 20 years ago, just after 6 days of being together. And we were married 3.5 months later. And that's 20 years ago now. So 2 decades, 2 teenagers, 2 dogs, and a whole bunch of life and stuff in between. And when I was thinking about Mindset Mastery Monday, I thought, well, I've just celebrated 2 decades of being in a relationship with someone who proposed after a really short space of time. What's kept us together? Because our love is phenomenal, but just like every other relationship, there have been times where it's been really tricky and really challenging. And there were probably 3 or 4 times that we seriously thought of ending it. So let me ask you, are you interested, and just type in a yes or a no, are you interested in deepening the quality of the relationships that you have with yourself, your significant other? G'day, Jag, great to have you here. Happy Easter Monday. If you're married, would you love some insights into how to have a juicier, yummier, more just loving, better communication filled marriage? If you are in a relationship and it's a bit turbulent, would you love to learn some things? Oh, Holly's a yes. And a lot of the things that I'm going to share are also great for business relationships and relationships with friends, colleagues, and partners. So listen, I'm no marriage counselor, but here's the thing. I think it's like 2 out of 3 marriages end in divorce here in Australia. And I reckon a lot of it has got to do with just poor communication. Yeah, Kate's a thumbs up. Poor communication. By the way, if you're watching this live, type in live. If you're watching the record, type in the record. So this is really me sharing some 10 things that I, upon reflection, can see we do in our marriage to keep it healthy and consistent, that you can apply in any relationship, be it personal or professionally. So are you ready? If you're not driving and you've got a pen and paper, write these down. And I really invite you to, or as I'm saying them, type in which one really connects with you and if you implement it, it would make a difference. All right, here's number 1. And these are in no particular order, by the way, okay? Just a random dump. Staying committed to someone is a choice. And if you're married, you made a choice. I made a choice 20 years ago. So number 1 is, it's a choice to stay with someone and stay in love. You have to choose it. You have to choose it on a daily basis. And I see couples that made a choice years ago, but they're not waking up still choosing the person lying next to them, or the person that's gone to work at the crack of dawn and comes home at night. I see leaders that employ people, and the people that have employed, they at some stage go, don't worry about them. We won't invite them to training because they're just dead wood. Well, are they dead wood before they got to your environment, or did they die under your leadership? Are you still choosing them in your business? So relationships, great relationships, it's a choice to choose that person and to love them, and it's a daily choice. So if you're in a relationship, when was the last time you woke up and actually go, yeah, I really choose you? And when I choose you warts and all. I choose all the things I love about you and all the things that drive me crazy, and I shift my focus on the things that really matter. So that's number 1 for me. Love is a choice, and it's a daily choice. If most people that are in unhappy relationships, they're in them and they're acting like they don't choose it anymore, but they're still in it. If you're in a relationship that you're not happy with and you're waking up every day, you're choosing it. But if you're in conflict, you're not choosing to do something about it or to end it. Does that make sense? Can you type in a yes if that makes sense to you? G'day, Dee. Hey, Dee. Beautiful to have you here. So love is a choice. You got to choose the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you're in a relationship that's not fulfilling, then choose something else or choose to do something about it. A. B. Oh, this was one that really saved my marriage. You know, our chemistry, our connection was phenomenal at the beginning. And like most people, totally Kate saying, like most people, you know, when you have kids, if you've had kids, and then life and money and work and family business and finances, we found ourselves going apart. And what I realized is to be successful in a relationship, you have to put your love at the top of the food chain. You can't have it at the bottom of the food pyramid, be the stale crumbs that you kind of just aren't interested in anymore. That's a mistake we made. We made that mistake a couple of times in our marriage. We didn't have love at the top of the food chain. Hi, there is only one Ebb. There is only one Ebb. Hello, the only one Ebb. Thanks for joining. So put your love at the top of the food chain. And what does that mean for us? Well, I'm going to get to that a little later. But just notice, if you are in a relationship, do you feel that your love is at the top of the food chain, or is work, your friends, your hobbies, your passions, your interests, your money stresses, is that taking priority? Is that eroding the very reason that you connected in the first place? So just check, where in the food chain is your love for one another? This third one is probably the biggest, and Lincoln and I, we did some work on this on our 20th wedding anniversary, recreating our marriage. I've talked about this in previous coaching, but this is my favorite distinction on the planet, and that is definition is decisive, meaning definition is decisive is however you see your partner, your leader, your colleagues, your clients, your family members, your kids, whatever your point of view of them is exactly what your experience of them will be. Good morning, Lou. Happy Easter Monday, my friend. So definition is decisive. So if you're in a marriage, you're in a partnership or in a business partnership, look at this. Do you have a positive or a negative definition of that person? How do you know? You know by the way you feel. Do you love being around them, or do you avoid them like the plague? Do you look forward to them coming home at night, or do you kind of, you know, wish they weren't there? When it comes time for bedtime, do you pretend you're asleep when they're coming to bed, right? Definition is decisive. You either have a positive or a negative definition of the person you're spending your life with, of the team that you've employed in your business, of the business partner you're doing business with, and whatever your definition is, that is your responsibility. That's what there is to get straight about. One of the greatest exercises you can do to keep marriages or relationships rocking and strong, or partnerships or collaborations, is take responsibility for your definition and really, really share it. Really share it if it's a disempowered definition. If you are really stuck in your marriage, relationship, partnership, business, colleagues, DM me or comment here or reach out to me, and let's schedule a 30-minute complimentary discovery session, and I'll really unpack this for you, because this will save marriages, this will save businesses, this will save relationships and parenting, and I reckon it would significantly reduce the amount of divorce rate we have in this country. Awesome. Number 4, happiness is your responsibility. Now, who's ever watched Jerry Maguire, right? And, you know, the female character goes, "You complete me," or he says, "You complete me," Tom, or she says, "You complete me." I think that's dangerous. I see too many people in relationships want their person that they're with to be the one that fills them up with love, to be the one that makes them happy about themselves, to be the one that excites them and makes them feel sexy and seen, or, you know, successful and productive. That is abdicating responsibility of what is rightfully ours to do. So my philosophy here is don't rely, like that person that you're with or the person that you desire to be with is the missing piece of your jigsaw puzzle, because that's a lot of unnecessary pressure on them to be everything for you, and that's not fair. I think it's healthy to be a complete jigsaw puzzle before we even play in the toy box. So happiness and self-love and all your juju and your cha-cha-cha is your responsibility, and then you just need to go and share it with the one that you choose to share your life with. So that's number 4. Number 5, integrity to your word is key. If you want solid love, connection, great communication, you got to be your word. Follow through on your promises. Follow through on your vows. Hey, Jackie Bailey, happy Easter. Follow through on what's important to you. Integrity to your word really is a way of demonstrating phenomenal love in your marriage, in your relationships, in relationship with clients, in relationship with business partners. And when we are not our word, it erodes trust. My kids pull me up if I promise something and I don't meet the finish line. They'll say, Mum, you promised. And I'm like, yep, you're right. No point getting defensive. No point giving a whole bunch of excuses. That keeps you disempowered, and it really erodes connection. So integrity with your word. So whatever vows you gave all that time ago, are you being them? Now, Lincoln and I, we're rewriting our vows and we're rewriting promises to each other. We've started the process. We've started talking about it. And the other thing that we're going to do is write down our desires. What do we desire from each other? And then can we give it to each other to, as a promise, as a way of filling each other up with love. So integrity to your word is critical inside of yummy, yummy, juicy, fulfilling relationships. Number 6, something we've definitely nailed in our relationship, and it's critical, is individual freedom is key. Codependent relationships who can't do anything without each other really stifles your individual soul's expression and experience of the world. You must have hobbies, passions, and interests that inspire you that may be completely different to your partner. That might be different friendships, different things that you do. My husband loves motorbike riding. He tours and travels all the time. And I wave my pom-poms for him and say, go for it. I would never stop it. We met a guy actually on the ferry from Queenscliff to Sorrento yesterday, and he was saying his ex-wife wouldn't allow him to do stuff. I couldn't imagine living a life where I don't allow my husband to do stuff. Now, of course, if you have commitments and agreements and vows, you want to fulfill those vows. But when it comes to your individual soul's expression, liberate each other. And it gives you something new to talk about too. I went to Egypt and Malta for 22 days 2 years ago on my own or with a girlfriend. So freedom is the key to really happiness in a relationship. Liberate each other by having different interests. Don't expect your partner, your business partner, the people in your life to be your be-all and end-all. That's a lot of pressure. Hey, Kaz. Hello, good morning. Happy Easter Monday to you. We're talking about top 10 things that I've learned about being in the relationship with a guy who proposed after 6 days, and how did we just celebrate 20 years of marriage, and what can we learn from these distinctions that I've reflected on that are beneficial in business and love and life. This is a big one, particularly in business. G'day, Diane. Great to have you here as well. There are always 2 rights. I see a lot of directors, co-directors, husband and wife. We've got a lot of, people in relationship. And the issue is we are battle of the rights. I'm right, you're wrong. No, that's not how it works. There are always 2 rights. There's your perspective and there's my perspective. And the biggest breakdown, I believe, in relationships is ineffective communication. We get upset with each other. There are 3 major causes of upset. If you're on this call now or this live stream now and you felt upset now, or you have recently, maybe even over Easter as you're hanging out with family and it pushes our buttons, then I want you to have a look at, did you have unmet expectations? Did you expect something from someone or something that didn't happen? Do you have withheld communication? Has something happened with a significant other in business and life and you're not speaking about it? Or did something interrupt an intention being fulfilled? That's going to make us upset. But consider there are always two sides to the story. And I'm really big on this as a peak performance coach. If you are frustrated or annoyed at someone, rather than just project your opinion, seek to understand their perspective first, A, and B, give them the opportunity to speak. Let them say what they need to say without interrupting, without correcting, and without defending. Okay, and that will really help create intimacy both personally and professionally. Does that make sense? If that one makes sense to you, please give me a thumbs up and let me know if that really makes sense. Okay, cool. So where are we up to? Number 8. Here's the thing, over 20 years, you know, when you're with someone for 20 years, Lincoln and I realized, I called it the pacman syndrome. You'll find this will happen in business too. If in relationship, in marriage or significant other or in business, all you're talking about is the shit that happens and what annoys you and what doesn't work. It's like, remember in the 80s, there was that Pac-Man that would go around and eat stuff. It just eats your relationship. It eats the love. It eats the magic. It eats the juju that you have together. So we decided to have creation meetings where it's like a business. We sit down, we talk about our life, our future, our bills, our family commitments, and the Pac-Man elements in our relationship that we want resolved. And unless it's urgent, we don't talk about that stuff in other times because we're really committed that love and connection is key. So if you're in a significant relationship or you have a business partnership, please make sure, as a must, once a week, you have what's called a creation meeting. You have an agenda. There's things that you talk about. And go back to strategy number 5, which is if you said you're going to do something, do it, because that's a beautiful way to show your love to someone. So have creation meetings and have date nights. Now, a lot of marriages end in divorce because of financial pressures. I know we've been there too. So you don't have to have a big sexy budget to have a nice time together, okay? Hello, ESB28. I think I've read that right. Thanks for tuning in. You don't have to have a big budget. You just have to have a really rich imagination. There is so much that you can do for free. But again, you got to put your love on the top of the food chain to make it important to do something about it. And this conversation even goes with your kids. I have individual dates with each of my kids because they want one-on-one mama time, not time together all the time. So that one's really critical too. Have creation meetings where you talk about the business of life and the family business, and then have date nights. And there's so many things that you can do that are inexpensive. Speaking of things to do, number 9, have things to look forward to in your business and in your relationships. The key to happiness is progress. And if we don't have anything to look forward to, it's one of the biggest causes of depression. If we feel that our marriage or our relationship or our business partnership or our life is like Groundhog Day and there is nothing in our future that is inspiring us today, it just flatlines our emotion. We're likely to hit a status quo. We're likely to not, do anything differently. But when we have little seeds like Hansel and Gretel leaving popcorn trails to the gingerbread house of love and success, we have something to look forward to. Hey, Matthew Caligari. Oh, look out. Hello. Is that my cousin, Matthew Caligari? Check it out. We have to have things to look forward to. Happy Easter, cuz, if that's you. So when in your relationship was the last time you had something to look forward to? When in your business did you and your team have something to look forward to after a week, a month, a quarter, hitting a goal, a half-yearly goal? We've got 9 weeks to go, I think 10 weeks to go to the end of the financial year. What have you set as a leader as something to look forward to celebrate all the blood, sweat, and tears of the week? It's really important. What have you got to look forward to in your relationships? And even in your relationship with yourself too, by the way. And number 10, love the one you're with. I like to live by a philosophy of every day that I'm alive is my last day here. And so if this is my last day, how would I be thinking? What would I be doing? And how would I be treating the person that I'm with? Would I really be sweating the small stuff right now? Would I really be hanging on to the anger and the frustration of a breakdown that we've had? Or would I give it up? Would I just drop it and let it go? And would I choose to focus on the gift of the honor of sharing my life with someone, warts and all. So whoever you're with, here's the top 10 summary of how to really have enriching, yummy, juicy relationships, both personally and professionally. Listen for the one that you dig the most, and I'd love you to type it in. G'day, Craig. Great to have you here as well. I'd love you to type it in if you're not driving. If you're in bed, just type it in, or just reflect on it for yourself. Number one, it's a choice to stay with someone. You consider you got to wake up every day and keep choosing them. Choose all the good, the bad, and the ugly, but choose them and choose to love them. If you're in a relationship you're not happy with, then choose to either choose it or choose something else, but don't stay in it and have you and them suffer as a result. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up, please, if that one makes sense. 2, you must put your love at the top of the food chain, or you must put your business relationship at the top of the food chain to have, make it a priority and make sure you actively have things that you do to keep it alive and thriving. Number 3, definition is decisive. How you see the people in your life, in your family, in your community, in your social networks, in your business will determine how you speak to them, how you see them, and your influence on them. And it'll either be positive or it'll be negative. 4, happiness is your responsibility. Your happiness is your job. Do not expect the person that you share your life with to be the jigsaw puzzle of love or sexiness or success or joy. Like, that's a lot of pressure. That's our responsibility, and then we just share what's spilling over. Too many people blame their significant other for why they don't feel happy, why they don't feel seen or sexy, why they don't feel successful, why they're not moving forward. I used to do that too. I'm practicing everything I'm preaching here, okay? Does that one make sense? Stop putting the pressure and the responsibility on others to make you feel a certain way about yourself. That is our responsibility. Number 5, integrity to your word. If you're not your word, if you're not being your vows, if you're not doing your promises, that's a really, really quick way to erode trust, love, intimacy, and connection with the people that you live, work, and play with. And have integrity. Okay. Oh, what have we got? Kate's shared here. Stop driving now and have integrity with yourself, not unjust others about your word, but true to yourself before others. Say you're going to do something, so do it. And Kate Ashton, bam, you've had an absolute breakthrough in that recently. Kate is sending me selfies in the dark out there walking. We've got a game going on for 2 weeks. Spot on, Kate. Well said and well played. You're doing a stellar job, hun. I just see great things for you. Integrity is key, right? When we don't have integrity, when we're not our word, we're incongruent, and that is the fastest way I know to disempower ourselves, when we are not our word. If you watch The Matrix, when Mateo, I think is his name, Mateo, I can't remember, he goes to see the oracle. She has a sign on her door that says, know thyself. The best way to know thyself is to be thy word with thyself. Okay. Individual freedom is vital. Don't be give your business partner the freedom to lead their part of the business. Give your husband or wife the freedom to go and do the hobbies, passions, and interests they love. Give your kids some freedom. Give yourself some freedom. Liberate yourself to have new interests, and you've got new content to talk about. But please don't have a codependent relationship where you don't grow and you don't do anything together. Keep it alive by honoring your truth, and be 2 trees that can grow side by side, in the same soil but separate, not intertwined and suffocating each other. That is really, really critical. Number 7, there are always 2 rights. You're right, they're right. So stop battling on who's right. There's a beautiful quote that says, if there's an opportunity to be right or kind, choose kind. One of the best ways to choose kind is let somebody else go first. Seek to understand their perspective before you pass judgment all the time. You are seeing things through your filter. So there are always 2 rights. Have creation meetings. Don't let the pacman of money and family life and logistics eat away and erode your love and connection. Have weekly family creation meetings and date nights that can be super affordable. Hey, MMs, thanks for joining, hun. And make sure, number 9 is make sure you have something to look forward to. The key to happiness is progress, and depression kicks in if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, if there's nothing in our future that inspires us today. And today, if you are in relationship, then focus on number 10. Love the one you're with. Now, if that is you're in relationship with yourself, love yourself. Easier said than done. But the fact that we have 1 in 14 trillion chance of even being alive right now, good morning, Talia, lovely to see you here, is a freaking miracle. I woke up this morning, I don't watch the news, I don't watch the media, but I did quickly see that 307 people were killed in Sri Lanka. 13 people have been arrested. They were just in their churches practicing their faith. If they actually practice some of these 10 key things, I think that we would have less war. We would be less war with ourselves and less war with the world, because we would understand there is more than one right. We need to put love and connection at top of the food chain, and we need to be responsible for our own happiness. It just blows my mind that we are miracles walking around on a rock that's floating in space, and we're choosing to take each other's lives, or we're choosing to stay in relationships that don't serve us. Just make choices. And if you are in a relationship, choose that relationship and live each day like it's your last. And if it's unfulfilling and it's been that way for a long time, choose to complete it. Choose to love yourself and them enough to let it go, even though it's painful. If you're staying in a relationship just because you don't want to be alone, consider that there is a beautiful miracle waiting for you when you step into the void of greater love for yourself. So, 10 tips from me of how I have successfully lived and navigated through 20 years of marriage with a guy that just proposed to me after 6 days of knowing each other. We were married 3.5 months later, and that was 2 decades, 2 teenagers, 2 dogs ago. I hope you found that useful. If you got something for yourself, can you share a thumbs up? If you know someone, g'day Rick, if you know someone that is struggling in their relationship, maybe tag them and say, hey, I watched this, there might be one thing on here that you get. And whatever I'd love you to get today is just, be the miracle that you are. Don't abdicate the fulfillment of your life to somebody else's responsibility. Your life, your happiness is your choice. So choose it. Much love. And if you'd love a complimentary 30-minute discovery session where we can look at your relationships, both personally and professionally, look at an area where you're stuck or oscillating, DM me on Insta, comment on Facebook, or send me a private message and let me know. If you also have a question, issue, challenge, or concern that you would love answered anonymously, I won't mention who you are, where you're from, but I will answer the question. Also reach out to me as well. Have a beautiful week. Enjoy what you do. Happy Easter. And remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Go make yourself and others feel great today. Even strangers, it feels good. Mwah. Much love. Take care. We'll see you soon. We're going to say goodbye to our friends on Instagram and ciao to you, our friends on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.